This is Life Prepper here, the World of Joan, and I want to talk about something really simple and the misconceptions that many people have. Having a 3-day backup plan in case water going down, in case the power goes out, a storm happens, or something, does not make you a prepper. Preppers get a bad name because of they've highlighted them in such a way that they really make them all look very eccentric, very paranoid. So it makes people look bad. The thing is, just having that 3-day supply, and I really, in my opinion, think you should have at least a 7 to a 10-day supply. Well, let's just say a 3-day supply. Whatever area you live in. There's people that take large trash cans, they put stuff in it, they have it out in the garage or whatever, separate from the house in case something happens and the house collapses, and then they can go to the garage and get their supplies they need to help make them, get through it. It's just rather that simple. Think about what you want on your list. Okay, medications. What type of medications? Can you live without it for 3 days? Can you live without it for 10 days? Can you live without it for a month? So then you're going to need to think alternative solutions maybe to that. Maybe you're diabetic. Cinnamon, teaspoon of cinnamon a day helps with the diabetes. Is it an answer? Not necessarily. Won't be 100%, but you know what? It'll give you a fighting chance. You got heart problems. You got circulation problems. Hawthornberry is another alternative as something to keep on hand just in case. Just do some research. The thing is say you got a family of 4, and you can manage on half a gallon a day per person roughly. Paper plates, paper cups, paper silverware, plastic silverware, that you do not have to wash, you can throw away. A little small cooking unit that you can use, whether it's a propane or one of these ones you can set that you've seen where you put a candle underneath it, something to kind of heat up your water and stuff with. Drinking supplies is a must. Keeping clean. How are you going to keep clean? How are you going to brush your teeth? How are you going to do this and that? Basic, simple things. Keeping clean is simple enough. If you have to, you can heat you up a small pan of water, washcloth, soap, water. Y'all may have to share it, but at least you'll be able to wash yourself off. So you have to think about how you're going to manage for that few days. The type of food you need to put up to survive on. That's another thing there. Proteins is something you need to have on hand. Keeping vitamins on hand. Having high-calorie food. Don't go buy 500 pounds of power bars, as they say. You'll see a lot of them on these shows, and you'll see them talking in there, running around in their backpack, and they got power bars. That's what they're living off, was power bars. And all at once the power bars is gone. Power bars is fine and dandy, and it helps in the situation, but don't count just on power bars. Count on some other things as a basic needs. Ramen noodles or the dehydrated soups and things like that. Think about things that you can heat you some water up, fix it up, and have a meal, putting liquids into your system as well as the soups and stuff. It's something to think about. Think about in a disaster, taking care of your family for that 3 days or that 10 days that you've set yourself as a goal. Many places, when things happen, they would be without power for 2 weeks. A lot of them was without power a lot longer than that. A lot of them, people couldn't even get to them for days at a time. Someone was forced to sit on top of their roofs because it flooded or whatever reason. The amount of animals they had to rescue and everything because of different things. Thinking about your family and yourself and taking care of yourself during that time for 3 days or 10 days or whatever, and preparing these little kits with first aid supplies, a first aid book, Tylenol, baby aspirin for people with heart conditions, things like that. Just little things like that can add up. So pull your list out, write it down, do some research, go online. There's all kinds of people out there you can talk to that will give you ideas on how to prepare. You don't have to be a prepper to have your backup supply in case of emergency. It's just smart thinking. It's just simple as that. You're like, well, I don't have room for 500 jugs of water. Lordy, praise be. You know what? You don't have to have 500 jugs of water. You just need to think what you need in a situation. You can keep gallon jugs around and fill them up. You can fish you up depends on where you live at. If you live in an apartment, you're going to be limited on what you got. So then you have to think on how many jugs of water you can put up and where you can put it out of the way. You can have those large those little stackable containers. I've got a unit that holds 3 gallons of water. I get my spout out. I like spring water. I don't really care to drink much city water, no more than I have to, but I will drink it. So I keep 3 gallons in it, so it's there for me to use. You can do a couple of those and use them on a daily basis and keep filling them up, whether you choose to use city water or not. But you know what? 2 of those set off in a corner. That's 6 gallons of water that can get you and your family through for a number of days. So it's just smart thinking. You don't have to be a prepper. Don't let prepper title, survivalism stuff, organic farmers, or the hippie movement, whatever, scare you away from thinking. Or you might think, you know what, we've never had it in this area. And that's what they talk about people in New York along the coastlines. They've never had a hurricane. They've never had this and that. But you know what? Buffalo, New York flooded. So there's all that contamination. All that water is contaminated. The sewer systems, all that's overflowing into that. So how many of them did you think actually thought about having some water or whatever, or a container built and supplied so up in their attic, up in their basement, in their garage, on their second floor, whatever? How many thought about it? Maybe even if you got a storage building you had to pay rent on, that you got stuff in, having a backup supply in there, there's nothing wrong with it, because you may end up having to hoof it over to that storage building and get you your water and your food out. You just don't know. It's just being smart. You don't have to be a prepper to be smart and have that backup food supply, or those backup vitamins, or those backup aspirins. Rotate them out in your house on a regular basis. Keep it as a list. Put it on your calendar that you say, you know what, today is the day I've got to rotate my Tylenol out. I got to rotate my ibuprofen out. I got to rotate my baby aspirin for my heart condition. Today I need to order me some more hawthorn berries for circulation. Wait a minute, I need to get some more of that blood pressure tea for my blood pressure here. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not the most organized person in the world. Sometimes I have to fly by the seat of my pants things, because I turn around and forget things sometimes. But the thing is, the knowledge is there. And each day I think more and more, but what am I going to do? I'm going to have to make sure I take care of myself and survive. So last year, where it was so cold up here in Ohio, there was people thought I was a little crazy for putting up jugs of water. But you know what? Where it was so cold and pipes was freezing and people's pipes was busting and the water lines was busting and stuff, I had water to fall back on. Yeah, I live in town. I could have went down to the store and got water, but you know what? The shelves was empty. People was down there buying lock, stock, and barrel because they didn't have no water in the house. They was buying all the water they could get. It was gone. It's empty. So then you're out of luck. So you know what? You don't have to be a prepper to be smart and have that 3-day backup or that 10-day backup. Just take that list, think how many's in your family, think of basically what you need to keep you warm, to feed yourself, or whatever it is. Just basic logic sense. So, it's something to think about. Can you move everybody into one room? Do you have things for them to sleep on? You can make up beds, you can take blankets, you can take pillows. Do you have a backup heating source? Do you have a propane heating source? Or whatever? Do you depend on central heat and air and the power goes out? Do you have a fireplace where you can burn wood? So it's a lot of things to think about. And it's also a lot of things to think about in case, you lose everything and you're in an area or whatever that nobody can get to you. You've got extra food and water somewhere, whether it's in your barn or in your garage or in your basement or in your attic or whatever it is. You've got it somewhere. It's being smart. You don't have to be a prepper to be smart and think about your family. It's just common sense. Don't matter if you never had a hurricane in your area. It don't matter if you've never had an earthquake in your area. It only takes one time. It only takes one time for something to go wrong. For a flood or something, you just don't know. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, at least have something lined up just in case. And if you live in those high risk areas, think about it all the time. Think about fixing you up some backup units in different areas. Just being smart. You don't have to be a prepper to be smart. When it comes to taking care of your family for that 3 days or that 10 days, if you're in that area, as a high risk area, even a low risk area, it's just being smart to take care of yourself and your family and just think about it more along the line and research. There's all kinds of people out there that'll be glad to help you out and talk to you. Look online. Look what you basically need. Just read up on it and take care of yourself, take care of your family until that help comes into you and gets you. Survive. Fight back. Don't just sit there and say, whoops, I don't have no water, I don't have no food, I don't have this. Think about what you need for your family. Be smart. You don't have to be a prepper. Just take care of yourself and your family for that 3 days or that 10 days until help comes and gets you. So this is Life Prepper here. I want all you folks to be safe, be happy. Bless you all.